Hello?
Hey Peach, it's Sean.
Hi.
Hey, you said to call
Okay.
you.
So I've been at work. I've just dedicated like another couple hours. Like I've put like a couple hours out of this. Um, what was the name of the individual? Tom Goodart? Goodart? Oh my god.
The name of what individual?
The guy that I'm going to be emailing this to. Because as far as I've gotten, it doesn't make concern.
Well, it'll be going to me. I don't have an attorney yet. I'm still trying to get one. There's a good chance
No worries. I have to whom it may concern. Was that work for now?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Is that the whole letter?
No, you want me to read it?
No, ma'am. I trust that you're honest.
I'll read it out loud. Like, it's not about honesty, it's about presentation.
Yes,
I can be
ma'am.
honest, but I would like to present it in a way that's more easily digested, you know?
Yes, ma'am. Throw it at me. I'll eat it up.
Alright, I have to whom it may concern. Sean Swartz is a very complex individual. I've known him since 2003. I met him in Boulder, Colorado. I was young and on the streets. For as long as I've known him, he has always been a gentleman, caring spirit. He's advocated for the homeless tremendously and has saved countless lives. He has always been selfless and sweet. I am aware he is touched on the autistic spectrum and has Tourette syndrome. Even still, he always has people's best interests in mind. I know that he has been harassed and assaulted by the police on multiple occasions, and he attributes this to profiling, and I have in brackets, I don't believe he's wrong about that. And so there may have been a few things that have occurred of which he has done that he ought not have to, but regardless, he did not deserve to be treated as an animal. He's an American citizen and deserves to be treated as such. The events that have taken place in not only this world, but his world have been tragic, traumatized any human being. I feel he has handled it quite well considering. He has a troubling past, and I know he is for euthanasia to be legalized. I don't blame what he's been through. After he lost everything multiple times, he has been wounded physically on multiple occasions, has been stalked and tormented for years. I, for one, would like to see change in the police force pertaining to the homeless, as well as how to properly deal with the mentally ill. I personally have a lot of negative interactions with the police, both as an adult and as an adolescent. Back in 2000, first interaction with the police was when I was 14. I and two other adolescent kids were held at gunpoint. My friend was hit with a stun gun for suggesting the officer's actions were unnecessary. I have seen use of excessive force unnecessarily and even deadly force. Perhaps revamping of protocol is necessary. And I like to stop there. That's where that ends.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Are there better ways that I could phrase that?
I don't know. I mean, that's a lot of the biggest issue with me is that I don't want to tell people what to write or what to say. I feel that their words would serve better than mine.
Well, I'm not trying to use your words. I'm just trying to,
Yes,
use
ma'am.
my words that maybe make it look better. So that's what I got so far.
I think it sounds pretty good, and it's honest as far as I've understood it. It sounds all right to me.
Okay.
I
was thinking of some quotes there,
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of quotes. I could probably fill up a whole speech full of just quotes. Mostly they'd be quotes from others.
Leaning towards or against that direction.
Do what?
So I wanted to be I was leaning against that direction because I do have a bunch of quotes as far as like unjust law and like moral codes, etc.
Thomas Jefferson.
What?
If the law is unjust, it is my duty to break it. Thomas Jefferson. Although I really...
Jefferson, Martin Luther King. Like there's a lot of different
There's a statue of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. above the west entrance of Westminster Abbey, the second most famous church on earth. Just an odd piece of history, I guess. I'm sorry.
No, that's alright. But I wanted to be like as original with my wording as possible.
Yes, ma'am. Sounds good to me. Thank you, Miss Peaches. I know I'm not always the easiest to deal with, and after Virginia, my life just sucked. It's not your fault I wasn't able to go to Boulder and see the people I cared about. And, on the 16th, when I was supposed to go meet Miss Natalie and she didn't show up, at least you took me, Like Ken and Leah, they knew what was going on. They didn't come forward about shit. Of course, I wouldn't expect them to. After all the money they took from me, They used Natalie's death as an excuse for the things that they did before she died. I still
That's
dream
not
about.
right.
It's not right. And I wanted to deal with it without the police. I wanted to get a lawyer and go talk to them. We were gonna do good things, Miss Peaches.
I believe you, and I'm willing to help in any way that I can.
If she hadn't disappeared, we'd have done all that, Like
It would have been different.
it went from we'll
They were
work
going
on.
to point fingers instead of actually investigating and looking at evidence.
Yeah. We were gonna take care of that stuff after dinner, but they gave me that phone call before we even got started cooking dinner. I didn't get that, and I didn't get a single dollar out of the GoFundMe. So, I still helped people out even after Natalie died. I rescued Miss Desiree, and I still looked out for her after she stole everything from me. I still care, I mean, people are more important than things, and despite all the stuff that Natalie and her family and friends put me through, I still wanted her to be home safe. When I tried to kill myself in January, it's 'cause the cops wouldn't leave my friends alone. All of my friends told me, I'd do this and I'd do that, and I'd kill somebody over this and I'd kill somebody over that. And you know what? That all hurt me. And most of those people said, I'm not afraid of anybody. And then turned out they're all afraid of the cops. I wasn't afraid of the cops. I was afraid of not having my voice heard. I should have been able to sit down with Natalie and the police and hashed it out without all of this crap. And you're right, the cops should have gathered evidence and they should have cared about the truth. But you know what? Once they'd already dedicated themselves to Sean's the bad guy, there was no change in that. It would have taken people going in person with me, and it would have taken people actually being able to hear what I had to say and me being allowed to defend myself. I wasn't allowed to defend myself to the police, to the Bollingers, to the courts. I wasn't allowed to defend myself in the media. And people want to treat me like shit because I shut down. I mean, there was just too much going on, and now there's 1,000 times more going on. I need them to leave me alone, Miss Peaches.
How can I help?
I don't know. Like, I need to get a lawyer who's willing to take the Bollingers to court, and I got to get a hold of an officer in the areas where they live who's willing to take my report and press criminal charges against these people, and I got to go after Ken and Leah too, and it sucks, but I have to.
Yeah, you do what you gotta do.
Yeah, it still sucks. I hate having to talk to the cops. They don't listen to
I
me.
don't think anyone really.
Well, I know quite a few people who can call the cops and the cops will listen. Most of them are pretty white girls. I did
Pretty
get
white
off.
girls.
Do what?
Pretty white girls.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
I do get to be wrong once in a while, though, but at least I admit it. There's a lot of stuff that's up in the air right now that I don't know if I was right or wrong about, but I know that the people who are telling me that they're right are absolutely wrong, which sucks. I mean, that Kara Johnson lady, she is so fucked up in the head. And that Kara Miles lady, I think they're the same person. But all those people, I mean, on my paperwork, it shows you right in my paperwork where all of these people lied. It also shows in my paperwork that they did conspire against me. So it's not paranoia, it's all written down on paper.
Well, that's legit.
Yeah, the only problem is nobody will take a look at it. I don't have the ability to take care of myself anymore.
Oh, man.
I don't have any money. My body is so shot and my head is so fucked. I'm trying, Miss Peaches. I really am. You know, I mean, every day I wake up wishing my life was over. I hate waking up and having to go pee because it's, you know, before I wanted my life to end every day. Go and pee in the morning, it just was me having to go pee. But now it's a nuisance. Like if I was dead, I wouldn't have to go through that uncomfort. I wouldn't have to get up to go to the bathroom. Stupid shit like that, you know? People say I'm just doing it for attention. You know, they're right. I do need attention. I need these things to not happen to me. And so many people told me, Sean, you just got to take care of yourself. And I did. These people with houses and families, they don't understand that the rights that I'm fighting for, homeless people are victimized for every day while they sit in their houses and pretend it isn't happening. And they say, you got to take care of you. And I'm like, you know, I am taking care of me. I'm trying to change the laws so that I can actually stand a fighting chance because you guys aren't going to fight for me. Chapel, Nebraska is the worst that way. And I don't want to generalize, but if I drop people's names, I get put on a Facebook ban. So I generalize, and then people get pissed off because they want to take it personal against them. And you know what? A lot of those people, I look at their posts after they get all pissed off at me and get all butthurt. I'm like, well, shit, this isn't somebody I want to be friends with anyway. I didn't realize so many people that I was friends with harbor so much racism and sexism too. I mean, oh my God, the women that I know are just as evil as the men I know. Sex is just as important to them, if not more so, in a lot of those cases than it is to men. I mean, men are pigs, yeah, but so are women. I don't know the right thing to do. I know that I don't want to be here anymore because everything that I tried to do just got me punished further. You know, I couldn't leave. I left Virginia so I could get away from that situation, and it followed me. And people say, you know, you should have just left. Well, I did. People say when somebody doesn't want to be your friend anymore, you just need to leave it at that, and I do. But when they wouldn't leave me alone, I didn't have other options. And a lot of those people who threw me away in Virginia, like Miss Jerry and Miss Lana, I mean, they did that in the most horrible fashion. And after Virginia, I didn't want to talk to them because of how fucked up their shit was. And I had to trust those people after Natalie died. I knew not to. I knew it wasn't smart of me to trust people who had done that to me once before. Lan had done it multiple times before. She's a very selfish woman. I don't even know where I was going with that. I want Alicia to know what the inside of a prison cell looks like.
Wait, say that again? You want her to know
What the inside of a prison cell feels like.
she's never felt that before?
Alicia? No. There's no consequences for pretty girls. Are you fucking kidding me? I
No,
mean, they
I
got a
went to
slap
junior.
on the
I saw
wrist.
a bunch of pretty girls.
Do what?
I went to juvenile and saw a bunch of pretty girls. A bunch of pretty girls in jail.
Yeah, well, juvenile's different. Juvenile is a lot different. Juvenile, you can get sent there just because your parents didn't do something right. They didn't
Yeah.
sign a form properly. A lot of those girls
Yeah,
that
but
are in
even
the
as an
juvenile
adult,
system are in there because their parents couldn't keep their hands to themselves. Yeah, I've seen a lot of pretty people get arrested. Most of them were homeless. I've seen a lot of attractive people and a lot of unattractive people in jail. And I've noticed that the difference in sentencing is dependent upon looks, color of their skin, and money and family. Like those are things that are really major factors in it. How much sentencing you get. If you don't have anybody there as far as family goes, you're gonna get max sentence. That's pretty easy. If you're a minority, you're gonna get a higher sentence than a white person. If you're unattractive, they're just gonna assume your guilt. If you're attractive, then your guilt is up in the air and they'll have to prove it in court. And that's not to say I don't know any pretty people who got railroaded, because I do. I know Missy got railroaded like a motherfucker. Crystal Bocom, she got railroaded too. And she was pretty back in the day. I don't know what she looks like now, but you know, she was really nice to me when I first met her. And then she got pregnant. I found out later on that she went crazy because she was raped by a Boulder police officer. When
oh
she went
shit.
to turn in that Boulder police officer, they gave her the mentally ill treatment, gave her the same chemical lobotomy treatment that they gave me, the same thing they did to Bodie. They did the same thing to Sam, too. The problem is, because they've all been labeled with mentally ill as well, and they're all impossible to reach. Like, I can't even ask them to go to court and speak up either, you know?
Yeah.
And these people don't understand the difference between overwhelmed and schizophrenic. Like, maybe they should spend a week with Zach Boatman.
Who's that?
Zach Boatman? He's
Yeah.
a schizophrenic guy. Severely schizophrenic. It's Diane Boatman's son. whenever I talk about Boatman's portal potty, that's Zach Boatman I'm talking about. He's the one who
Okay.
thinks he's Lucifer sometimes. Talks about how he could beat Jesus' ass and stuff like that. Him and a guy named Christian Bort, they're after I hurt my back when I moved that gun lathe in 2015, like I spent 6 months where pretty much everybody that I talked to was a grand total of 3 or 4 different schizophrenics that they wouldn't forget that I existed when everybody else did. So one morning I was standing in line at Starbucks and I noticed that the first 3 people behind me in line were all people who had told me that they were Jesus at some point. And within half an hour, 3 more came in the door. And I remember thinking to myself, it's too bad Zach Boatman isn't here. He could tell me which one is the real Jesus.
So
Right?
open his ass. Oh yeah, that's that one. I knew it. Hey,
Right? That's the thing. Like people don't understand how important, well, how important you are, first of all. You know, I mean, if it wasn't you, it'd be somebody else. But familiarity and people that I love, you know, being thrown away sucks. But I'm used to it. You know, it's just the fact that I didn't have anybody stick with me like family does. When I really, after I hurt my back, I really needed a rescue, and a lot of people just had mean stuff to type at me on Facebook. Natalie and Maddie both rescued me from that, and it sucked that, you know, like when I went over to your house, I didn't want to have to go to court over those people. I just wanted them to stop. And I wanted to start that GoFundMe for a castle because, like, I'm never going to have the money to have my own place where I won't be victimized without help, you know? And I'm really tired of it, Miss Peaches. I can't turn off the pain of the world. I can't get people to listen. I can't get them to educate. I don't want to be a part of a world where people are so hell bent on being cruel to each other, especially in Jesus' name. Like, oh my God. Have they not read the book? No offense or anything, because I know there's a lot of people who are completely against everything that's in the Bible. But I like the New Testament. Jesus was a good dude. But I don't believe in God. I do believe in Jesus.
if you ever ask what would Jesus do, never forget that whipping a banker is not outside of the realm of possibilities.
Yeah, neither is chasing a motherfucker with a whip.
True. That guy, hero. For some reason, he looked like Eric Clapton.
Jesus did?
Yeah, in my brain anyway. He was like Eric Clapton's like head and brain attached to like Fabio, and that in my brain was Jesus.
See, when I think of Jesus, I think of like Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman,
Yeah.
not Samuel L. Jackson, because like that would totally explain a lot.
Samuel L. motherfucking Jackson? No, that's presidential candidate material there. Motherfucker, what's in your wallet?
What's in your wallet, bitch?
Yeah,
I can see it.
I liked Samuel L. Jackson as a Jedi just because of his purple lightsaber. He's like, you know what? I'm not going to do this movie unless I get the national gay color.
That's funny.
Yeah, it is funny. I didn't even know it was the international or the national gay color. I was told that the national gay color was yellow at one point in time. I'm like, why does gay have its own color?
Like, you mean with the little sashes or flags or whatever?
Yeah.
Because, like, the purple one is, like the violence, like the domestic violence awareness, and then the pink one's for the boobs.
Yep.
Type shit.
It's weird to me because there's like 7 colors and there's about 40,000 different ribbons. So that means some of those ribbons are being used twice. It's a good thing they're using ribbons instead of condoms.
Say that again?
I said with only 7 colors and 40,000 different organizations with ribbons of those colors, they have to reuse the same colored ribbons. So it's a good thing that they're ribbons instead of condoms.
Oh, I see what you are saying.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, if you turn them inside out and rinse them off real quick, it should be good for another, like, 5 or 6 goes.
See, that's what I said about my underwear, and they still burned them.
Did a bunch of ghosts come out?
Yeah, must have been.
I'm joking, I'm sorry.
I don't know. I figured if there's an accident, you just take off the undies, roll the turd out of them into the toilet, flip them inside out, and call it good. I don't. Being so far away from people sucks, and then I have panic attacks nonstop about having no money, having no place, and all the people who did this got away with it. I'm not okay with that. So I know it's been really frustrating. I'm sorry I'm not perfect. It'd be nice if I was Jesus. I'd bring Natalie back. But
Just
I wouldn't.
Natalie?
What?
Just Natalie?
Oh no, no, that's just the start. I got so many people I miss. Shit, you'd probably be right there with me trying to get Ash back.
Fuck yeah. Be
Our
nice to see
heroes.
Roach again.
Yes, ma'am.
Or Sasha Claus. Or Reverend Friendly.
Oh
I
my
would love
god.
to see Reverend Friendly.
I miss Sancho and Reverend Friendly. You know, I remember hanging out with Cisco and Sancho, like, those two alkies just almost every night, just telling terrible, terrible jokes. But they were funny about it, you know? Like, they were happy and pleasant drunks. They weren't aggro motherfuckers trying to stab each other to death. That guy that Ed went to prison for stabbing to death, those 2 guys that he stabbed up, one of them just couple of nights earlier had been threatening to stab me to death. He actually sliced a girl open just a couple of blocks from there because I wasn't having none of it. That's one of the guys that Eddie killed.
Wait, say that again?
There was a guy down on Pearl Street who was trying to stab me one night, and I wasn't having none of it. So that dude went down and sliced up some little girl that night. And
Holy shit.
yeah, so Eddie, he was in his squat when this guy and another drunk decided that they were gonna try to steal Eddie's guitar, among other things. And Eddie is serving the rest of his life in prison for stabbing these 2 motherfuckers to death.
He was framed?
No, he wasn't framed. He definitely stabbed these dudes, but the thing is, he was trying to save his own life. It's always okay to defend yourself, and you know what? They wouldn't allow me to make a statement in that particular case. I went down to the police annex on 4 different occasions after I saw the dudes that he stabbed, they had their faces in the newspaper. I was like, oh my god, that is the dude who was trying to stab me? That is the dude when they were asking who it was that was down there because they were trying to find the dude who stabbed that little girl or sliced her up or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that was the dude, but they wouldn't have it. They weren't having it. They weren't hearing it because it didn't coincide with what they wanted to believe. And finding Danny dead behind the pedestrian shop, like that fucks my head up to this day. Cause like Danny's a Boulder local, you know, like his mom
Yeah.
still lives there, and I walked by him, you know, when they got a call at 6 o'clock in the morning saying that somebody was not breathing and unresponsive there, and I found him dead back there at 10 o'clock, you know. Like he'd been back there for 4 hours. The only reason that I went that far back into the alley, far enough that I could actually see him, is because there was too many people walking through the alley for me to have a cigarette on Pearl Street or in the alley. I mean, there were hundreds of people who walked past him, and his pants are down. You know, I mean, how could hundreds of people walk right past somebody like that?
Not paying attention. Not seeing them.
Yeah,
Or even not caring.
there is that. I got a
That
kitty cat
sucks.
demanding my attention. So my brain doesn't work very well. I don't sleep very often. You already knew that. I still have that dream about Natalie dying in the car accident. I don't know what to do. Like the lady that I'm here with, she has a daughter who's very temperamental and very violent. So we all have bumps and bruises and bite marks, and she just does it at random. She just decides she's gonna come up and hurt somebody, and then she does it. So the lady I'm staying with at night, when her daughter finally goes to bed, you know, she just wants to relax and have a drink, except it ends up being a whole bottle every night. And then she wants to talk nonstop like I'm doing now. So she keeps telling me that she's gonna help, and then when we get all ready, she's already 3 sheets to the wind. And I can always tell because her eye starts getting lazy and starts going off to the right.
That's terrible.
It is. I mean, I yelled at her when I was in Nebraska because I had called her and she was on repeat. I'm like, holy fuck, lady, are you on drugs? Are you a fucking crackhead? And no, she's not. She's really stressed out. I mean, literally, she spends her entire day getting abused by her daughter. And then at night, she just wants to relax. But by that point, like, she's so stressed out, she just mainlines that shit. So we have to wait till nighttime to work on anything. There's some stuff that we were supposed to work on the day that I got here. And she's got a lot of small projects around the house that she needs help with. But I keep explaining to her that she's the homeowner. She has to take initiative on a lot of this stuff herself. And she has to stay sober if she's going to work with me because I need someone who's going to work with me, not someone who's going to talk nonstop. And I don't want her to get offended how, you know, a lot of people do. They get offended when you say stuff like that, like you're trying to be a dick and tell them to shut the fuck up. That's not the case. It's that I need her to stop telling me the same story over and over and over and over again, especially when I have to do math in my head. Did I just go off for a half an hour?
Yeah?
Yeah, I figured I did. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's fine. Get it off the chest.
I guess the biggest thing is that none of these people are bad people. They just don't understand, or they don't realize that, they're expecting different from me than they expect out of themselves. Although I have decided that Natalie's entire family is evil, and Natalie probably did the right thing by having Joseph shoot her in the head. For a girl as small as she is, with the family ties and the places that hers were, yeah, she wasn't going to have a decent life. She was someone else's property. I don't know how to make these people leave me alone. I didn't try killing myself in January just to get attention. They did to Candace, Officer Michael Beard, and all those other people that were being threatened and harassed for being my friends and for sticking up for me. Like, I didn't want them to have to go through that. I mean, I'd rather died in Boulder before I ever went to Virginia and have Natalie and her sister remember me for who I am instead of. I don't even know why they did that shit in Virginia. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me unless I was the boy they were fighting over. And I'm not a boy, I'm a grown ass man. I'm not attractive, I'm not a pretty feller, I have no teeth, I mean, it's not like I'm Tyson fucking Beckford or Brad Pitt here. But if I'm not the dude that they were fighting over, and why did it all come down on me the way that it did?
So, as far as correspondence for this guy, should I give him my phone number? I'd rather not. Would I just be able to send him an email?
It's my email address that I sent you. It's because I don't have a lawyer yet. I don't have anyone to even take a look at that yet. But when I do, I need to have it so that it's available. Because they're probably, if I get my name ran anywhere, they're probably going to ship me back to Colorado, and I won't have the opportunity to show evidence or to defend myself. So I got to get everything, all my ducks lined up in a row on my Gmail, and then I have to send somebody my code for the Gmail so they can check it for me. Hopefully somebody who can help me get a lawyer. I mean, I'd like to have a lawyer that all this stuff can be sent to today, but that's just not a happening thing. I know that my pretendy lawyer is a high dollar lawyer who doesn't give a shit because she's not getting paid. She's not a public pretender, not the one in Larimer County anyway. And the other ones, I don't know that I'll even get a lawyer. But there needs to be a professional inquiry put in against these people, and the best way to do that is to start collecting that. I got to spend tomorrow putting thousands of screenshots in my email too, or my Gmail, whatever. Sending myself 8,000 screenshots, and I could only put up anywhere between 11 and 22 of them on any given email. So it's going to take a while. I'm sorry. It was really late,
Right.
so I mean, I'm half dazed at the moment, and I should probably be trying to sleep. But
Yeah, I'd totally let you go. I'm sorry.
can I call you tomorrow? Do you work tomorrow?
Tomorrow's like my only only day off.
Well, I'll leave you alone tomorrow then.
Totally. Well, if you want, I can call you while I'm awake.
Yes, ma'am, that'll work. Be safe, Miss Peaches. I love you. I'm sorry I did most of the talking.
Oh, that's fine. I'm alright with it. You have yourself a good night, and I love you, and be safe, and we'll talk to you later.
I love you too. Be safe, Miss Peaches. Bye.
Bye-bye.